There comes a moment in life when you stand at the edge of something greater. You feel it inside, this deep sense that you were made for more, that God has something powerful in store for you. And yet, between where you are and where you need to be, there is a road paved with discomfort, sacrifice, and resistance. Growth is painful, but here's what most people won't tell you. The pain of staying the same is far worse. Most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They cling to comfort zones, afraid to take risks, afraid to lose what they have, afraid to let go of the familiar. They pray for blessings, but refuse to endure the process required to receive them. They want financial abundance, but they're not willing to change their mindset about money. They desire success, but they won't pay the price of discipline. They dream of a stronger relationship with God, but they're not ready to let go of distractions that pull them away from Him. But let me ask you, do you think God created you to live an average, mediocre life? Do you think He designed you for a life of just getting by, struggling with money, lacking purpose, settling for less than what He has promised? Absolutely not. The Bible is filled with examples of men and women who had to go through seasons of hardship before stepping into the fullness of their calling. Joseph had to endure betrayal and prison before becoming second in command of Egypt. David had to face giants before wearing the crown. Even Jesus had to endure the suffering of the cross before stepping into glory. This is the pattern, this is the process. And if you're going through something painful right now, it's not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you are in the middle of something powerful. If you quit now, you will never see what God has on the other side of this battle. In this journey, we will uncover the truth about the pain of growth and why it is necessary. We will break down the reasons people fail to reach their full potential. We will challenge the way you see discomfort, money, success, and even the role of faith in financial prosperity. Because if you don't get this right, you will stay stuck in the same cycle, praying for change while refusing to walk through the doors God is opening for you. By the end of this, you will understand something life-changing. God is not withholding your blessings. He is preparing you to handle them. Stay with me until the end, because this is not just another motivational speech. This is a biblical blueprint for transformation. And if you apply these principles, you will never look at challenges the same way again. Before we dive deep, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because what you're about to learn will shift your mindset, your finances, and your life forever. The price of growth. Every breakthrough in life comes with a price. It's a truth that many ignore, hoping that success, wealth, and transformation will come easily. But nothing great is achieved without a cost. Look at the world around you. Everything that has real value was born out of a process that required endurance. Gold is purified by fire. Diamonds are formed under extreme pressure. Muscles grow only when they are torn and rebuilt. Even the most valuable treasures of life, such as wisdom, faith, and financial prosperity, demand sacrifice. The Bible makes this principle clear in Romans 5:3-4. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. Pain is not a sign of failure, it is evidence of transformation. But here is where most people go wrong. They misinterpret discomfort as a warning to stop, instead of recognizing it as proof that they are on the right path. Think about the Israelites. God promised them a land flowing with milk and honey, but before they could enter it, they had to walk through the wilderness. And what happened? Many of them complained, resisted, and longed to go back to Egypt, even though it was a place of slavery. Why? Because freedom required endurance, and they weren't willing to pay the price. This is where most people get stuck. They want wealth, but won't sacrifice comfort to invest in knowledge. They desire financial stability, but continue to waste money on things that have no long-term value. They dream of success, but refuse to let go of bad habits that keep them in mediocrity. The same is true for spiritual growth. People want a closer relationship with God, but they won't give up distractions that consume their time. They want wisdom, but they won't open their Bibles. They want God's blessings, but won't align their lives with His principles. The reality is, the process is unavoidable. If you resist it, you delay the blessings that God has prepared for you. But if you embrace it, you position yourself for a life that goes beyond anything you've imagined. Jesus Himself understood this principle. He didn't resist the cross. He endured it, knowing that resurrection and redemption were on the other side. Hebrews 12:2 says, "For the joy set before Him, He endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." What about you? Are you willing to endure the temporary discomfort of change for the eternal reward that awaits? Or will you, like the Israelites, turn back at the first sign of struggle? Now I want to hear from you. Comment below with one word that represents the kind of growth you are pursuing right now. Whether it's wisdom, prosperity, faith, or discipline, I'll be reading and giving a heart to every comment. Why pain is part of the process. If there is one truth that many fail to understand, it is this: God never wastes pain. Every struggle, every moment of discomfort, and every hardship serves a purpose in His greater plan. Yet most people view pain as an enemy, something to escape from as quickly as possible. They pray for blessings, but the moment challenges arise, they question God's plan. But here's a hard truth. The very thing you are trying to escape may be the very thing God is using to prepare you. Look at Joseph. God gave him a vision of greatness, but before he stepped into that promise, he had to endure betrayal, slavery, and years in prison. At any moment, he could have given up, questioned God, and decided that the dream was just an illusion. But what seemed like setbacks were actually setups for his destiny. Because he endured the process, he was elevated to second in command over Egypt and was in a position to save his family from famine. This is a pattern seen throughout Scripture. Before David became king, he was hunted by Saul. Before the Israelites entered the Promised Land, they had to fight battles. Even Jesus, before stepping into His full glory, endured rejection, suffering, and the cross. Why does God allow this? Because growth requires refinement. Malachi 3:3 says, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the Levites and refine them like gold and silver." Gold does not become pure by remaining in its raw state. It must go through fire where the impurities are burned away. Likewise, God allows certain pains in our lives not to destroy us, but to refine us. This applies to every area of life. People want financial freedom, but refuse to go through the discipline of saving, investing, and making wise choices. They want abundance, but won't endure the temporary discomfort of sacrifice. They desire luxury and riches, but won't develop the habits required to sustain them. But here's the key: pain is not the enemy. Pain is preparation. When you feel resistance, when life seems to push back, it's not a sign to quit. It's a sign that transformation is happening. It is in the pressing that oil is extracted from olives. It is in the crushing that grapes produce wine. And it is in the struggles of life that God prepares you for something greater than you can imagine. The real question is, will you endure long enough to see the reward? The key to overcoming challenges. Most people crumble under pressure, not because they lack the ability to overcome, but because they misunderstand the purpose of challenges. They see obstacles as barriers instead of stepping stones. They see struggle as punishment instead of preparation. And because of this, they give up too soon, just before their breakthrough. But here's something that will change your perspective. God never allows a battle without first equipping you for victory. The key difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not their circumstances, it's their mindset. While one person sees struggle as a reason to quit, another sees it as a reason to push forward. The truth is, what you believe about your pain determines what you do with it. James 1:2-4 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Notice that James doesn't say run from trials or complain about trials. He says, consider it joy. Why? Because trials are the training ground for greatness. Think about an athlete preparing for a competition. Every moment of training is painful. Every session pushes them past their limits. Their muscles burn, their body screams for rest, and their mind tells them to stop. But they endure, not because they enjoy the pain, but because they understand what is on the other side of it. This is the same in life. If you want to grow spiritually, financially, or in any other area, you must be willing to push through discomfort. People want financial prosperity, but the moment they face setbacks, they panic. They stop investing, stop learning, and go back to old habits that keep them in financial struggle. But the ones who succeed are those who remain disciplined even when it's tough. Proverbs 13:11 says, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." True wealth, both spiritual and financial, requires patience, endurance, and wisdom. And when challenges come, they are not there to break you, but to build you. If you are struggling right now, you are in the exact place where transformation happens. The pain you feel is evidence that God is stretching you, molding you, and preparing you for something bigger. The only question is, will you endure the process, or will you retreat back into comfort? If this resonates with you, show your commitment by giving this video a like. It helps this message reach more people who need to hear this truth. The power of persistence. Most people quit too soon. They start with enthusiasm, excited about change, ready to embrace a new season. But the moment things become difficult, they begin to doubt, to hesitate, to question whether they should continue. They forget that every great achievement requires persistence. Think about this. What if Noah had stopped building the ark because people mocked him? What if Abraham had given up on God's promise because it took too long? What if Jesus had decided that the cross was too much to bear? None of them saw the reward immediately. They had to wait, to endure, to push through seasons of uncertainty. And yet, because they persisted, they stepped into the fullness of God's promises. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." That's the key, if we do not give up. Too many people quit just before their breakthrough. They let go of their dreams because they don't see instant results. They stop pursuing financial freedom because setbacks discourage them. They abandon their walk with God because the road feels too hard. But here's something you need to understand. The reward is always on the other side of persistence. The reason why most people never experience true financial abundance isn't because they lack intelligence or opportunity. It's because they lack perseverance. They get excited about saving money, but when sacrifices feel uncomfortable, they return to old spending habits. They try to build wealth but give up when the road gets difficult. Yet those who stay the course, those who push through discomfort, are the ones who reap the rewards. Proverbs 12:27 says, "The lazy do not roast any game, but the diligent feed on the riches of the hunt." Diligence is what separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck. If you want to change your life, spiritually, financially, or personally, you must develop the ability to persist. Because the truth is, most of the time, your blessing is closer than you think. The struggle you are facing now is not a sign that you should quit. It is a test to see how much you are willing to endure for what God has already prepared for you. Now, what will you do? Sharing the power of transformation. When God blesses you with wisdom, breakthroughs, and transformation, it's never just for you. What He does in your life is meant to be a testimony, a light that helps others find their way. But too often, people receive revelation and keep it to themselves. They grow in knowledge, they prosper financially, they experience God's favor, yet they remain silent while others around them struggle. But that is not how the kingdom of God works. Proverbs 11:25 says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." The more you give, the more you receive. The more you share what you've learned, the stronger it becomes in your own life. That applies to wisdom, to faith, and even to financial prosperity. Jesus himself modeled this principle. He didn't keep the truth hidden. He taught, he gave, he poured into others. And because of that, his impact changed the world forever. But many people miss this. They believe success is only about accumulating wealth, securing luxury, and achieving personal goals. But true success is measured by how much you help others rise with you. Think about the people in your life right now. Is there someone struggling in an area where you have already gained wisdom? Is there a friend, a family member, or even a stranger who needs the encouragement that you've just received? Sharing knowledge, sharing encouragement, sharing resources, these are all seeds that God multiplies. Luke 6:38 says, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." When you hold back what you've learned, you limit what God can do through you. But when you share it, when you pass it forward, you position yourself for even greater blessings. So, here's something I want you to do. Think of someone who needs this message and share this video with them. You never know how one word, one lesson, or one act of generosity could change someone's life forever. The decision that changes everything. Now that you've come this far, there's only one question left. What will you do with what you've just learned? Because here's the reality. Nothing changes until you decide to change. You now understand why growth is painful. You've seen that discomfort is not your enemy. It's the very proof that transformation is happening. You know that every great blessing, whether in faith, finances, or personal development, comes with a price. And most importantly, you've realized that quitting is never the answer. So what happens next? Will you embrace the process, trusting that God is refining you for something greater? Will you stop avoiding the necessary sacrifices that lead to wealth, wisdom, and a deeper relationship with Him? Will you choose to persist even when it feels like nothing is happening? Or will you go back to the same patterns, letting fear, laziness, or doubt keep you from the life God has called you to live? This moment right here, it's a turning point. You can either stay where you are or step into the future that God has already prepared for you. But make no mistake, you have to choose. God is not holding back your blessings. He is waiting for you to align your actions with your faith. James 2:17 says, "Faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead." You can believe in abundance, in financial freedom, in personal transformation. But until you start making decisions that align with that belief, nothing will change. So here's my challenge to you. Take action today, and before you leave, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because we are just getting started. If this message impacted you, don't stop here. Watch the next video that's on your screen right now. It will take you even deeper into this journey of transformation. And if you found value in this, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. You never know how one simple decision to pass this forward could change someone's life forever. Your future is waiting. The only question is, will you take the next step?